Hello everybody and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Of course, we are now on Patreon, so if you would like to sign up and see more videos like this week's Our Sophie and the fans Q&A, please go on there. We also did a man of the match for last week's game. Anyway, so we've got quite some important stuff to talk about today, haven't we? And I mean, Chelsea, Sarri especially, is interested in signing 2 players in January who we think actually are very, very good potential options for our forwards. I think the only obvious place to start, the only reason we're looking for another forward when we already have 2 strikers at the club is because we are failing to score goals. Well, actually, no, sorry. Eden Hazard isn't failing to score goals, but our striking options are failing to do so. And as much as I think Giroud helps our play and, etc., whatever, we do need our strikers to be scoring goals. And unfortunately, Morata isn't doing that. So how much time do we give him? Because we don't want to moan. A lot of you guys say that we're moaning all the time about this and that, talk about something else. But how can we not talk about it? We don't have a striker that's scoring goals, £70 million goal scorer. If there's anybody else, any other club, they'd be talking about it week in, week out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a very long intro.
Well, yeah, I thought I should do that.
It was very long. Look, we have a huge issue and it's up front, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to fix it. But the fact that we are massively in the title race now means that the club should really back this team in January and do everything they can to bring in a striker who could potentially bring the Premier League to Stamford Bridge.
And to help Sarri after he's done a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, of course. We've got a terrible situation. We've got Olivier Giroud up front, who is fine. I think that some of the other players enjoy playing with him. I think that he certainly brings out the best in somebody like Eden Hazard.
But also, he's probably living up to his price tag with the amount of game time that he's getting, I would say. More or less.
Yeah, I mean, his price tag isn't something that I think we can be too preoccupied by, because obviously it was an integral part of another transfer, and his contract was running down. So there were issues around that. But as much as I like Giroud, as much as I rate him, he doesn't score enough goals. It's all very well having a centre forward who helps other people score goals, but you've got to think, I think Ross Barkley this season will score more goals than Morata and Giroud combined. Yeah.
But I don't think that Giroud coming in, I don't think the club thought, he's going to be our main man, our main striker. And the problem for me is that this whole Morata situation, you could put it was any player. If we bought any player for 17, if we bought any player that was performing the way Morata was doing without that price tag, they wouldn't be trying to give him a look in. I think the club are so desperate for this to work out. Everyone's trying so desperately for it to work out, because Morata cost 10 million, he would have been out the door by now. There's no way he would be getting any game time. We wouldn't be able to put his right foot on the pitch. Yeah. And as much as I don't want to be harsh and cruel, because I'm sure he's a lovely person, Chelsea FC are built on having, if you look at the likes of Diego Costa and Didier Drogba, who are obviously no longer with us, but we're used to having some really fightful, aggressive
it's
players up front.
I don't think anybody's ever really won the league without having a decent centre forward, and we don't have we don't have that at the moment. So it's important that we rectify this situation, and we are in the title race. With 9 games in now, unbeaten. We are in touching distance to the summit. We really do have a chance here, and what we have to do is back this team, completely back them, 100% back Sarri, back the team in January. Get out. Get your checkbook out and really, really go for it, because somebody coming in, somebody good, somebody like Icardi comes into this team, and Chelsea could well win the Premier League. Yeah,
because at the moment nobody's really taking us seriously, and I think I've worked it out now why that is. Because when you think of Liverpool and you think of Man City, you think of what a great attacking force that they have. That's certainly what I think of whenever I worry about playing them. I think of Sergio Aguero's and Mo Salah's and whatever else, and I don't think we have any. The pundits aren't talking about our forwards, so we do need to enforce something.
We haven't got enough game winners. We haven't got enough match winners in our team. When you look at that City team, there's probably 7 match winners in it. When you look at the Liverpool team, there's probably 5 match winners in the team. When you look at Chelsea's starting lineup, Eden Hazard is perfectly capable of winning you a game.
Well, I think our whole midfield we've got some of the best players going, and they're all gelling really well together.
They're excellent football players, certainly. But what they're not, Jorginho's a masterful football player, but he's not a match winner.
No, what I mean is that we're very creative. Chelsea, we've always been a very creative team. We've played very, very good football until it gets to that final third, and that's when it all seems to go to pots. Unless we have a very decent striker who, Rory's going to argue the case for one in a minute that we should sign, or that Sarri wants to sign.
It's Icardi. I think Icardi's the one that's been mooted for a while now, and he is a really hot property, and everybody in Europe's looking at him. And
we have been talking about it for ages, though. So why is it that because we're going to be honest with you guys, we know that the interest is there. We know that Sarri 100% would love to have him there. But why are the club not enforcing that sort of move? Is it money based? Or?
Look, I think that they invested heavily. We broke our transfer record for Alvaro Morata, and I think that they hoped it would work. I certainly did. We saw glimmers this time last year. We saw glimmers this time last year where he looked like a really good player. We went away to Stoke and he scored a hat-trick, and some of the goals he completely was responsible for himself. Manchester United at home, a towering header. Chelsea win 1-0. That's the kind of centre-forward that he can be. And I think over the summer, it went wrong for him towards the end of last season, but over the summer we were thinking, right, he could regroup, come back a stronger player, a better player, and all of a sudden we have a really good team, new manager, and Alvaro Morata up front. That was a dream, and it really hasn't happened. We're 9 games in now. I think he scored 1 or 2 Premier League goals, one of them being the last minute one against Southampton, which was a great goal, 31 passes or whatever, but and and look, he's not a ruthless centre forward who is going to drag us to victories and drag us to titles. He's never going to be that player. He's a nice player who will nick a goal now and again, but he is never going to do what Diego Costa did, which is ensure that Chelsea win trophies, no matter what. It doesn't matter how we play, it doesn't matter what's going on. If Diego Costa is leading that line, anything is possible. If Didier Drogba, Chelsea could be playing abysmally. We think about that game when we played Liverpool at home, didn't play particularly well. All of a sudden, the ball drops to Didier Drogba, he chests it, spins, pirouettes, left foots it straight past Reina, and Chelsea win the game 1-0. Yeah. It's a game that we probably didn't deserve to win, but our centre forward made sure we did.
But I think fans at the start were more open to the idea that he doesn't need to be aggressive, he doesn't need to be in players' faces to get goals, but he does need to offer something different.
Incorrect.
And at the moment...
Incorrect.
Well, no, that's my opinion.
Completely incorrect.
There
has never been a centre forward that is brilliant at football, a brilliant goal scorer who isn't nasty. There isn't one. There isn't a nice guy up front. You're missing
the point. I'm saying that there must have been a reason why they bought Morata, because we look at his other games. Why Chelsea buying him then in that case?
No,
he's not aggressive. He wasn't aggressive in his other league.
Right. You said that people were all right about him not being aggressive, and I don't think that's true.
Well, I haven't finished my comment. I said they're okay with him being aggressive if he offers something different that still results in goals, which he does not.
No, but nobody ever has. Nobody ever has. No nice guy has ever scored goals.
No, but I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think you need to be up in everyone's faces, screaming at them.
You do.
Diego Costa isn't the same as Didier Drogba. They're not the same.
They're
not the same
both really, really aggressive.
I don't agree.
Dominant male men.
I don't think they're
alpha males. They absolutely are.
I don't think Diego Costa and Didier Drogba.
Dennis Bergkamp, one of the nastiest, filthiest centre forwards, one of the best players I've ever seen, one of the nastiest players that's ever played the game. Thierry Henry,
Sergio
Aguero. You've seen him cut David Luiz in half.
Well, yeah, well...
Every centre... There isn't a centre forward that's a nice guy, a pretty boy.
In my opinion, if he isn't in everyone's faces getting sent off every other game, if he offers something different and his all-round play is still good, that's fine with me. What I'm saying at the moment is he offers nothing. He doesn't offer goals. He falls on the floor. This is why fans get really mad. That's my problem with him. So that's just my opinion. I'm allowed an opinion, aren't I, Rory, or no?
No, you of course. But just to finish this one off, give me an example of a nice guy who scored bundles of goals.
I'm not saying he has to be a nice guy. I'm saying he has to offer another technical ability that still results in goals.
Yeah, I think he has the technical ability.
So just moving on from this and very annoying
it's the attitude that's
argument.
the problem, it's not the ability. He has the ability. He doesn't have the attitude.
He falls on the floor.
He just doesn't have the right attitude.
Whether he had the attitude or not, he still thinks he can fall on the floor, and that will result in a free kick towards us. It doesn't. 9 times out of 10, it results in a yellow card to one of our players. But you said, back to the original point before we drifted off there, that you want Icardi. Yeah. We've been talking about it for ages.
I think Icardi's the obvious one. He's a fantastic player. He scores big goals as well. They were on the cusp of a defeat in their first Champions League game this season against Tottenham. He scores an unbelievable goal. Absolutely unbelievable. Outside the box, volleys it in. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. They had a huge derby the other day against AC. Who pops up with a last minute winner? Him. When you're that kind of player, it's brilliant. I know he's had some trouble with the fans over there. I know that they weren't fully in love with him at one point because of some of his behaviour. But that is part and parcel of being a brilliant centre forward. Yeah. You're a temperamental character. You have an attitude problem. And I'm prepared to take all of that for somebody who bangs in 20 goals a season.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Icardi. And there is one other player that apparently, as reports suggest, that Sarri is interested in. Right, so forgive me if I've got the pronunciation wrong, but it's Krzysztof Piatek. Is that how you say
Perfect.
it? Yeah,
Perfect.
okay, there you go. He is a Polish national. He plays for Genoa.
Genoa, perfect. You're
I
flying, Sophie. Don't doubt yourself. Just go with it.
Yeah, but what really impressed me about him, so I think he only cost Genoa about 3.5 million, but he's already attracting the likes of Napoli and Bayern Munich. I think Napoli, this is according to reports, if you look online, are saying that they're willing to pay 30 million for him. Bayern Munich are also interested. I think he scored 12 goals in 9 appearances, and if you look at what we have at the moment, I would take 12 goals in 9 appearances any day of the week. Anyone would. Yeah, exactly. And I think because he's not at his, he's only 23 years old, I think, because he's not at his peak at the moment, although I don't know too much about him myself, and I'm just looking at goals online on YouTube like you guys would, and his all-round play, he'd be a good person to get in because he's not going to cost us a good 70-80 million. He's going to cost us a decent amount of money. We can develop him at the club, and most importantly, Sarri wants him, which is to me more important than anything.
And I think because he's playing for Genoa, he'd be attainable. Getting hold of Icardi is going to be difficult. Inter Milan are a huge club.
He's the more realistic signing.
I mean, look, I would personally prefer Icardi just because the longevity. He's been doing it for such a long time, but Piatek is a very exciting proposition as well.
Yeah, if you look at his goals online, they're not amazing goals. What he is very good at is one-on-one with the keeper. He's very good at getting in amongst the defenders and stealing the ball in the box, which means that obviously that then results in a goal. And like I say, he can put the ball in the back of the net, which is exactly what we need. So guys, do have a look online. There's a few lots of his goals on YouTube. And let us know who you would prefer to sign, if not both, and what you think of Morata currently. I'm sure we're going to get a few moans. And
describe Morata in one word in the comments.
Yeah, that'll be good. That's a good idea. And then, of course, if you aren't already, please follow us on Patreon.